Greetings and welcome to Razortree Productions. Today we're going to do a summary of a tournament that we ran on February 1st. On February 1st, 2020, we hosted our very first tournament at Collected Comics on Altamir in Fort Worth, Texas. This was a 1,000-point tournament played on 4x4 boards, 1 day, 3 rounds. There were 8 players, and of those 8 players, we had all Grand Alliances, 7 different factions, all 4 major Chaos Gods, sorry Dirty Rats, at least 5 people who this was their first tournament, the first tournament ever run by Razortree Productions, the first tournament ever run by Collected Comics, and a total of 10,990 kill points. And that was units destroyed, not models. Now, what were those armies? We had Gloomspite Gits, Disciples of Tzeentch, 2 Maggotkin of Nurgle, one being Mortal Nurgles, one being Demon Nurgles, Hedonites of Slaanesh, Osiarch Bone Reapers, Blades of Khorne, and Stormcast Eternals. We had more tables set up than we needed, so I kind of mixed up the action a little bit and did not have a top table or bottom table. I just put people all over the place, so wherever you were playing had nothing to do with what your ranking was, but it ended up being really fun having everybody spread out and playing on new scenery. A lot of people in this tournament, actually I think at least 5 of the 8 people, this was their first tournament ever, so it was really nice to be able to expose them to different play mats and different scenery and all of that. Now, as well as a tournament, we also had a painting competition that could be entered by anyone. They didn't have to be in the tournament. And if you were in the tournament, it didn't matter if you were playing those models. You could enter any model you want. And like I said, it didn't matter if you were in it or not. We let a bunch of people in the shop, just customers, come by and vote on the painting competition as well. So it was really just votes by the players and anybody that walked by and happened to ask what was going on. So let's go over some of the models that were in that painting competition. It was split up into 3 categories: Hero of Legend, Company of Legend, and Icon of Legend. Hero is any hero model that's not a behemoth. Company of Legend is any unit of 2 to 60 models, and Icon of Legend is any behemoth or artillery, including their crew. For the Hero of Legend competition, we had 8 entries. We had 1 Poxbringer by our Mortal Nurgle player, a Poxbringer by our Demon Nurgle player, Fungoid Cave Shaman, Lady Olander, Neferata, Infernal Enrapturous, and the Demon Prince. For Company of Legend, we had 6 entries: Plague Bearers, Fleshhounds, Moonclan Grots, Blight Kings, Hellstriders, and Grimghast Reapers. For Icon of Legend, we had a Greater Bloodthirster from Forge World, Lord of Change, a Keeper of Secrets, Troggoth Hag, a Great Unclean One, Glotkin, and a Black Coach. Round 1 took place in the realm of Gyran with no Realmscape feature. The battle plan was Gifts from the Heavens. We had Khorne versus Stormcast Eternals. Tzeentch versus Osiarch Bone Reapers. Gloomspite Gitz versus Maggotkin of Nurgle. And Maggotkin of Nurgle versus Hedonites of Slaanesh. Stormcast Eternals eventually won against Blades of Khorne with a major victory. Tzeentch achieved a minor victory over Osiarch Bone Reapers. Gloomspite Gitz, major victory over Maggotkin of Nurgle. And Hedonites of Slaanesh, major victory over Maggotkin of Nurgle. Round 2, also in Ghyran, with the Realmscape feature Life Springs, was the battle plan Shifting Objectives. In round 2, we had Hedonites of Slaanesh versus Gloomspite Gitz, Stormcast Eternals versus Tzeentch, Blades of Khorne versus Maggotkin of Nurgle, and Osiarch Bone Reapers versus Maggotkin of Nurgle. In a result that no internet scholars would have called, Gloomspite Gitz major victoried over Slaanesh. Disciples of Tzeentch ended up narrowly winning over Stormcast Eternals. Blades of Khorne major victoried over Maggotkin of Nurgle, and the Osiarch Bone Reapers major victoried over Maggotkin of Nurgle. Round 3, the final round, also taking place in Ghyran, had the Realmscape feature Seeds of Hope and the battle plan of Border War. This was Maggotkin of Nurgle versus Maggotkin of Nurgle, which made for a lot of interesting tree usage. Stormcast Eternals versus Osiarch Bone Reapers in a knockdown drag-out fight. Blades of Khorne versus Hedonites of Slaanesh, fully living up to the Wrath and Rapture name. And Gloomspite Gitz fighting it out with Disciples of Tzeentch to see who was the top dog. In the Maggotkin of Nurgle mirror match, surprisingly Maggotkin of Nurgle won. It ended up being demons winning over mortals. Stormcast Eternals versus Bone Reapers. The Stonecast Eternals were able to weather the storm and get the major victory over the Bone Reapers. Blades of Khorne was an incredibly close match, and Hedonites of Slaanesh inched ahead in that one. And Disciples of Tzeentch ended up destroying the Gloomspite Gitz. And with all of our rounds complete, that left the standings as follows. First place, Disciples of Tzeentch. Second place, Hedonites of Slaanesh. Third place, Stormcast Eternals. Fourth place, Gloomspite Gitz. Fifth place, Blades of Khorne. Sixth place, Osiarch Bone Reapers. Seventh place, Maggotkin of Nurgle Demons. And eighth place, Maggotkin of Nurgle Mortals. This was an amazingly fun tournament. It appeared that everyone was having a great time. I just want to thank everyone that came and played. It was wonderful to actually have a tournament to run, and I plan on doing more of these in the future. And I very much want to thank Collected Comics and Games in Fort Worth for allowing us to have the space to play the tournament in. And I also want to thank our patrons for pledging and helping us do things like this. Peter, Jean, Leanne, and Dave, you are much appreciated. Now to wrap up the video, I did have a speech of sorts at the end of the tournament, and my wife recorded it. So I will end with that. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'm sure if anybody that played in the tournament wants to share their list, you can talk to them about it. I won't share them because I forgot to ask permission. So without further ado, here is the closing speech of the tournament. This is the first Sigmar tournament I've ever run, and this is the first tournament that's ever been at Collected Comics. And thank you so much for having us here, because the space is amazing. And on that note, this space is moving a few doors down. Same complex, just down that way. So the store will still be here, all the tables will still be here, it'll just be in a different door, basically. And let's see what else. You got that, and yeah, we'll go over all the all the placements. Going to do the painting competition first. Just so you know, that whoever wins the overall painting, speak with Brandon. There's going to be some store credit involved, and when I get to the winner of the tournament, there's going to be store credit involved as well. So we had a ton of amazing models. Everything looked fantastic. So we had a bunch of customers come by during the lunch break too, and I had them all vote. So these votes aren't even just the players. So there's a lot more votes than there are players on this. So for the icon of legend, and that's the behemoths or artillery. Third place, we have a Lord of Change. Sheldon's Lord of Change got third place. So, hey Sheldon, good job, Jonah.
Yeah. He paid me. I was about to give him credit. Okay, he paid me, so
was it in coins? So it's all change.
Wow.
And second place, we have Dwight with his Keeper of Secrets. And the winner of the Icon of Legend was the Greater Bloodthirster from David.
It was gorgeous.
I'm from behind.
That's my baby. That is my baby. I love that bottle.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people do.
I heard it threatening mortal wounds against anyone who did before.
All right, so for Hero of Legend, third place, Dwight again with their Infernal Enrapturous. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Say that right? Oh,
Thank you.
And in second place, wasn't even in the tournament. Look at that, Chris with Lady Olander.
Okay.
And for the Hero of Legend, the greatest Hero of Legend, the greatest looking at least, Jonah with Fungoid Cave Shaman.
Hey.
So you've technically got two now.
See, the little guy can win.
yeah,
Hey, the little guy can take a lot of damage too, apparently.
yeah. That's Sheldon and Dwight.
And for Company of Legend, this is the unit. Third place goes to, I'm going to read it like it's written, goes to the Grot Poke and Spears. Second place goes to Chris again with the Grimghast Reapers.
Woo.
And,
Yay.
let's see. Okay, reading that right. This might be the wrong unit, but you'll know what I'm talking about. Correct me, because I can always get the names mixed up. Dwight with the Hellstriders?
That's it?
Yes, I got it. I can't remember if it's Hellstriders or Seekers. I think those are Hellstriders.
Seekers are the demonettes.
Okay.
Demonettes.
And now, the one you need to be winner of this needs to see Brandon, because there's some store credit involved here. Third place of overall, which you can vote for anything. Doesn't matter if you vote.
It was
for
your
once
absolute
already.
favorite.
Absolute best model overall, or favorite at least. Third place goes to Chris with the black coach.
Okay. My hot pink. Yeah, it's like the pink coach.
Right.
The glittery pink coach.
Yeah.
For second place, we have Chris with Lady Olander. And for the prize and store credit and bragging rights and just absolutely beautiful model, David, your Greater Bloodthirster.
Yep. The Bloodthirster.
That thing is almost intimidating. It looks so good.
One day I'll put it on the table in the tournament again.
Nice.
Freaking awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's one of mine. All right,
playing
so for
against them.
sportsmanship, we have a tie. That's awesome. So I'm going to have 4 names to read here. And this is very important. It would have gone to tie. If it went to a further tiebreaker, I would have used this. I know tournaments use this differently, but I was testing out going straight victory points and kill points and using this third. But this is still an incredibly important reward because the hobby is very time consuming for everyone. And knowing that when you're spending this many hours with people, that it's paying off and people are enjoying it, that's a really big deal. All right, so third place is going to be Brian. Where'd you go?
Right there in front of you.
I don't see him. Well, and somebody tell Brian he won. We have a 2-way tie for second. David, name's on here again.
Yes.
And Sheldon.
Hey.
And first place in the Sportsmanship Award is going to be Jody.
Yeah.
The tithe has been paid, and we apparently please don't pay the tithe.
Tithe? You mean the bribe?
All right, and these are. This was really hard to figure out. I'm going to do a shout out to Top of Grand Alliance. And, so top order, that would be Brandon. Brandon with the Stormcast Eternals.
Woo!
So only order.
Only the faithful.
Only the faithful.
Top destruction. That's going to go to Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Also only destruction.
So only top chaos really matters.
Right. Top death is going to go to Jody.
Jody with the boners.
Also only death.
Details.
And now, for pure bragging rights, who is the best chaos god? Who do we think?
Nurgle.
I had 4 yells. But top chaos was Sheldon, was Zeech.
Yep. There we go.
Also, I think the only chaos that never had a chaos on chaos fight.
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
sounds very Zeech of you. If I like to find out best chaos, you avoid all of them.
Of the, what, 6? No.
Maybe that's why he's the best chaos, because he actually, decided to fight someone else.
Yeah.
So we had all 4 chaos gods, all 4 grand alliances, and in a game with 8 players, 7 different factions play. So that's a really impressive spread for such a small tournament. I'm very excited about that.
Come tune into our next 40K tournament where it's 40% Iron Hands, another 40% Space Brains.
Hey, what is
I
that?
don't know. I don't hear bad things. Space Marines are the best.
All right, and finally, I have the full rankings, and I'll leave it up here for everybody to look at. But in 3rd place, we have Stormcast Eternals. Brandon. 2nd place, Dwight.
Yes. Your first tournament, 2nd place.
This is his first tournament, which I think there's 5 at least people here. This is their first tournament.
Yeah.
And today was also his first game of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
So make sure you brag about that on the rerolling ones. If you don't, I'm going to do it for you. And first place, taking it all, and talk to Brandon here about store credit, goes to Sheldon. Zeech.
Was each.
So top 3 disciples of
chaos
Zeech.
players.
Yeah.
So that's Stormcast Eternals. And I really appreciate everybody coming out here. I'm going to be doing more of this. We'll gradually raise the points on the tournaments, but if they're actually still, even with that as a desire for lower point tournaments, I'll keep that going too.
Also raise the prize stuff as more interest.
Yeah, again, it'll just escalate from here, everything. And if you haven't seen Razortree Productions, it's a battle report channel that I run. You'll see a tournament report. I filmed a bunch of stuff and have a lot of pictures and have a bunch of random stats. And I'm just going to make a whole video going over all that. And I'll post it everywhere, but if you want a bunch of details, I'll have it all there as well. Other than that, just thank you so much for coming. Have a good day.
This does qualify for the.
Yeah, I think this haven't had enough players to qualify for Texas Masters. There's a deal with how you use the Sportsmanship Award. I don't know if it's going to qualify it or disqualify it, but if it does, I'm going to be submitting it to that as well. So you'll get points on that too.
And also before you guys go, just want to let you know, Collected, we just started supporting tabletop wargaming back into last summer. We're still kind of new to it, but we've got quite a few tables set up quickly. We're still trying to build up, but anytime you guys are looking for a game, we got a Discord community. Our store is very active on Facebook. So if you want any of that info, love to talk to you about it. We'd love to have you come and play anytime you're available in the area. We'll be doing a lot of narrative events. We're wrapping up a Sigmar one now. We'll be getting into a 40K one, then back to Sigmar. So I'll always have some kind of narrative event going. Plus, we're hoping to do quarterly tournaments, moved up to every other month for each game system. So hope you guys will come and join us for some of that and be part of our community. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.